You've just been listening to G-Town Radio. We're the sound from Germantown. Yay! So we have just a couple minutes to chat with our guests. Actually, yes, we do. So let's go to our first guest that we having here for the first time. And he can just tell us what's up, whatever is on his mind, or with maybe some theater
I'm
projects.
having very deep thoughts after this metaphysical experience. I've been to the outer limit. It's quite a thing to see. I like your idea where you connected the two stories, where you suggested that maybe the pilot in the second one was actually like the son or the grandson of the guy in the first one. So that's kind of cool, So we know that the first guy somehow got his marbles together or lived long enough to procreate.
Yeah,
so that gives us all hope then for the outcome of the first story.
Yeah, it was kind of a coincidence. I picked the first one, and then I just saw the second. I thought, oh, this is really good, and maybe it was just sort of the power of suggestion. But the first one was produced in 1936, so it was just long enough. The other one was 1950. So
I think that's one of the
possible.
angles that's really neat about the whole thing that it's worth highlighting is the fact that these were read as scripted, these authentic things from the 1930s and again from the 1950s. So it's that whole thing when you start to look at the future past, or how we used to look, the past looked on the future. When they were saying 1965, they were saying it from 1950. And so it kind of warps your mind a little.
Yeah, it's funny how what they project and what they imagine will be only 15 years, but it must have seemed like, centuries or something. And so many things happen so much more quickly now. And if they could have just imagined that we would have Star Trek phasers become, like the cell phones that we use, as Jim mentioned the other day, actually.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, we need to bring back the space program.
Yeah,
we need to go back to the moon. We need to put people on Mars. Yep. You can't put a price on hope. Right. And this is something that we had back at that time. Science fiction has always talked about the fear of the future, but the energy to write the stories, there's another excitement there, which is about hope and possibilities, and looking beyond the problems of today. By reaching further beyond those problems, we're solving tomorrow's problems. And that's one of the things that we get wrapped up in so much.
And we're doing it with the Russians, too, which is exciting.
Yeah.
It's totally cooperative.
Yeah.
So you think these space explorations, namely the most recent one, Pluto, is worthwhile?
Yes, I totally believe in NASA. I think,
cool.
Like anything else, we need to be cost conscious. But if you think about, even though there's a lot of strife and turmoil in the 1960s, what helped to get us through it, even though there was a lot of trouble here on Earth, something good that did come out of it was the first time that a human being ever set foot on another world. And it's the product of something that happened in 1969. And, so there's some intangibles there. And if we can fool around with science fiction notions and things, but if we do something in real life, there might be some other intangible results. We might be able to, and even that turmoil that happened in the 60s led to change and things that are good. And so, it's even if we debate about that issue, should we go back to space or not, it would be a healthy debate. I think it's definitely worth talking about.
Sounds good. Susan, where do you weigh in on this?
Beautifully said, and
absolutely,
no matter how far
nicely
out
expressed.
Mike goes in space, his feet are always firmly on the ground.
That's for sure.
Well, you guys help to ground me. You guys are great.
Yeah, you too.
I love working
fun,
with you
Andy,
so
thanks.
much.
Yeah, this is very exciting. I hope you guys can come back again sometime soon.
Thank you.
So tell us about anything that's happening on some boards or stage or whatever.
Well, right now, Old Academy Players, where we've all had the privilege of being on stage, is having its 6th annual children's arts program.
That's right.
And it's a great 3-day program where children learn music and art and dancing and theater. And at the end of the 3rd day, they put on a performance, and tomorrow it's going to be a mini version of The Sound of Music, to the pleasure of their family and friends who are attending. And it's a wonderful program. And Old Academy Players is a great theater, and if you haven't been there, check our schedule out and come for the 2015-16 theater season.
You'll be in the stars.
www.oldacademyplayers.org.
You'll be in the stars and over the moon. Do you have any roles possibly coming up, or are you taking a break?
I
or-
have many roles. They're not really on the stage. No, we all have roles in life, and so,
You're at
it's,
Germantown
you know,
Academy, and things are
Yes, Germantown
Friends. I'm
Friends.
sorry. Germantown Academy.
Germantown
Left one
Academy,
time.
our
Down
friends
the
in
street.
Fort Washington. Germantown Friends, right up the street, and we've got a lot of exciting things coming up for this year.
Cool.
So we're very excited to welcome to be part of the Germantown community. We have a very strong program that's to be involved with Germantown.
Great.
And it's it's one of those things that it's another one of those intangibles. To the motto of the school is taken from a biblical passage, and it says, "Behold, I have set before thee an open door." So it's kind of
Wow,
where we
that's
take our
great.
cue from in terms
Yeah.
of like being part of the fabric of the community, and not just going out into the community, but what can we learn from the community,
Yeah.
from all this great history right here
That's amazing.
in Germantown,
Yeah, absolutely.
being part of these forces of social change that we were talking about in
Yeah.
the past, and continuing into the
Sure.
into the present, and trying to reach our kids today so that they can pass it on to the next generation.
Oh, and it's kind of a nice quiet time now for you to be able to reflect, I guess, at Germantown. So things are kind of a little bit on the chirp it cricking it.
Well, we use the summer
Cricket
to
chirping.
to kind of reformulate what we're going to do.
Right.
So it's a time when we get a lot of upgrades and maintenance done on the campus, because we want to do it when it doesn't get in the way of the teachers and the kids.
Right.
And so we're doing a lot of planning and moving things around, and it's kind of neat for the kids because they come back and something's a little different every year. Things have kind of moved around, and it keeps things fresh. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
and again, being part of the community, we have community groups on campus all throughout the year that help to take advantage of some of our facilities, and we work in partnerships with these groups. So.
Right.
Breakthrough is a program that's a national program.
Breakthrough,
It has an
okay.
outlet that operates at Germantown Friends, going on
excellent.
for quite a number of years now.
Wow.
So there's always something happening there. It's the campus that never sleeps.
And
But the
also,
rhythm is different.
I was
Yeah.
going to just say, in Germantown,
Excellent.
when the kids are on vacation, they can take advantage with their parents of all the beautiful Germantown historic homes, and there's so much history involved with each
Oh,
of
my
the
gosh,
those
yeah.
several houses, about 10 different historic houses in the Germantown area
Mm-hmm.
that they could visit. So it's a lot going on in this area.
Yeah, these mansions are amazing. They're really just totally unique, and they go back and they're totally preserved. And it's also nice to say that Germantown is in continuing a tradition of basically diversity and embracing and
Yeah,
expanding
check out the
arms of
Germantown
love.
Historical Society. It's
Have you been there?
Yes, it's
Oh,
it's
I'll
a
have to
great
go.
it's a great place, and they often have an exhibit that you can go in and see.
Oh, okay, I have to
They
check
have
that
hours,
out.
and they're a great resource. So, and they can
Wow.
also point you to a lot of the other sites in the area.
Wow.
So
Cool.
there's a lot to see. People come to Philadelphia and they think about,
Okay.
I'm going to pass through for the day and see the Liberty Bell, but that's only
Yeah.
the beginning. You could
Yeah.
spend a couple days just seeing all the historic sites in the city. And then, of course, we have the Franklin Institute, the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the third largest art museum in the country, the University of Pennsylvania Museum, which is one of the only archaeology, anthropology museums in this part of
Yeah.
the country, the little-known Mutter Museum, one of only two museums in the whole country dedicated to the history of medical science. So there's all kinds of stuff.
Mike, does the trolley still run along Germantown Avenue? Did they stop that?
It doesn't usually run as a trolley car, but yes, Route 23 does run, and they used to try to run a trolley. Now the tracks are still there, so this is a pitch for public transit, outer space, Philadelphia
Yeah.
tourism,
Hey!
education,
Good
what have we-
food, lots of
theater,
good restaurants.
You know.
Pretty soon we'll be in flying ships ourselves, getting
That's
to and
right.
from, right?
Well, it is the year 2015. This is the year that Back to the Future Part 2 predicted that we would be flying
Wow.
around. So stay tuned. In
Wow.
October, there's a certen date that
Oh,
Back to
cool.
the Future
Oh,
2 takes place,
yeah.
and I didn't exactly come prepared, so you'll have to research it out there on your own. But
Well, maybe at
look
least
for that
flying
date.
suits or something. We can come to some kind of compromise.
They have drones flying all over the place.
Yay! Yeah, there's the start.
I'll call Michael Fox tonight and check it out.
Yeah, see if he's around. Michael, so what's up for, when does Avenue G come back?
August 1st is our
August
next
1st.
show, and it will be the Hippie Be-In show will be broadcast.
Oh, cool.
So it's pre-recorded. You and I just did it a few days ago, but
The one at the Read and Eat?
yeah, so it'll be
Oh,
playing
okay.
back on August 1st.
Great. Will we be needing to meet beforehand, or eat some
No.
granola? Oh, cool. I
Our
didn't
work
think
is
so.
done.
Our work is done.
I'm working on my rocket ship in my garage. So
Okay, well, if you need anybody to help paint,
Andy,
I know some people.
that's right. Give yourself a plug for some of the shows that you've put on.
Yeah, well,
You should note that, yeah,
in
Andy's
October.
Andy's a playwright
Right.
and a performer in this area. He
Great
kind of
playwright.
he
Yeah,
put
thank
together
you.
his own sort of theater contingent there, so we can talk
Well,
about that.
we've been doing some performances at the Read and Eat, and in September and October we'll be doing some more radio plays. The one in September, I think it's the second Saturday. We'll be doing some scripted ones, and then in October we'll be doing an original show, sort of a gangster rival. Mob rivalry kind of.
And how will you advertise
Mock.
that, Andy?
Through Theater Alliance, and also on G-Town. We'll probably mention it, and various people, such as yourselves, and Facebook, etc. Woohoo! Well, if anybody has anything to add, now is the time before we go off the air.
It's
Thank-
been fun, Andy. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
stay cool. It was a pleasure to have you both, and once again, I hope you come sometime. The door is always open, hitherto, amiss, and yet so far, to mangle that biblical reference. You're listening to G-Town Radio. We're Skywave, the sound from Germantown. See you next week. We'll have a couple more radio plays for you. Whoopee!
Hi, kids. I'm Ed Feldman. I got me a radio show. It's on gtownradio.com, and it's on Monday through Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. It's called Morning Feed, and it's with me.